What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it. Back on another spring, but not so spring day here. But it's a beautiful day, even in this cloudy form. We just had an eclipse yesterday. People were so excited. We wasn't in the path of totality, but hey, it was an interesting thing. I see they had it out there, well off shoulder, a little, I guess, semi-eclipse out there. But looks like everything is up and going. I actually haven't seen the well off, I think, from yesterday. I have to go check it out. But I did see something pretty exciting. Shout out to those boys, Buffed and Prime. They are doing some big things. And so I definitely want to shout those guys out. I was watching their part 2 on Shad, and it kind of reminded me of something I've talked about. And I think we're going to continue to talk about, because we kind of have to build ourselves up. A lot of people remind us about last year. Y'all was excited last year. I think Colorado was just excited to have something last year, especially rebuilding everything. It was like a bunch of new toys. And we were looking at guys from lower schools, and it was better than what was there, or left, I would say. And with the Coach Prime and all the excitement, that's what we had. And people seem to not want us to get excited or have any hope for what the team will look like this year because of what happened last year. And that's just foolishness, especially any athlete knows that. I played on some sorry teams, and we had a good team. It's like, oh, y'all just talking again. No, and when we actually were good, we were good. And we were right. It's not just wishful thinking. You know, sometimes it's like hope, and sometimes it's like you got solid facts. And one of those solid facts is that Shad on that tackle, nose guard, wherever you want to put him, is a whole problem. That guy there, man, I don't think people are going to fully value or understand what he brings until they see it. And a lot of people, you know, when we look at these guys, we kind of underestimate their size. He's not the tallest guy. If he was one of the tallest guys, if he was like a couple feet taller, he'd probably be the biggest tall in the country. But he's stout. He's probably 5'10"-ish, 300 something. But when I say it may benefit him because he's up under those taller linemen, and he has leverage, and the strength that he has with that leverage is a problem because he's low to the ground. And he get up under you, and he can really control those linemen. They can't move him. And we saw it. You go look at those well-off clips. You'll write it off as, oh, our line suck. Tyler Brown is very strong. And a lot of people underestimate him. And when he double-teamed him and Savion Washington was trying to move Shad, and they was turning, the fact that Tyler Brown was able to turn Shad says a lot. Because those Texas linemen, it took 3 of them, and they couldn't move them. 3 Texas, and you want to say Texas is not good. They almost made it to the finals. And this is, I believe it was last year's film that we were looking at. But either way, Texas was the dominating force in the Big 12. And when Shad lined up, play after play, multiple plays, one block definitely couldn't block him. 2 couldn't, and it took both guards, and they couldn't move him. That right there is a game changer for a lot of different reasons, because that clears up that whole running lane issue when quarterbacks escaping, like last year. Running lanes, when you finally get pressure on the outside and he escapes because it's running lanes off the guards. Also, that off the guard runs up the middle, it's not there anymore. It's not there. And that was one of the biggest concerns about stopping the run. If you can eliminate that and just focus off tackle, you got more help out there. You got more help if they have to bounce it out. You got corners out there. You have safeties out there. You have edge rushers, outside backers out there. Your most vulnerable part of that field is the middle. Technically, there's only one middle linebacker. The safeties is way miles back. So you got that guy in that middle. If they wipe him out, it's really like 3 against 2 right there. Him doing what he's doing, staying healthy. And I don't put it past Carter. Carter's gonna come in right there. He's a big guy. who's pretty stout as well. It's not that he's this only piece. McNeil does pretty good. They all have something different about him. McNeil is not as small as people think. He's a tall and he's a big guy, and he's very athletic, and he's disruptive. And he showed it last year, and he's showing it now. We got some big guys that can fill that position up in the middle. And we still talking about we need more. But we got to respect and value what we have right there. And we started with Shadoze. But we got other guys that can come in there and bring relief where it's not a huge drop-off and productive. And maybe use them in certain scenarios. Because Shadoze, he's a real clogger. He's not an elite pass rusher per se. I'm not saying he can't get better, especially with Warren Sapp. But I like what he does. Let him be what he be. But McNeil can get in there and be disruptive. He can get to that quarterback quick. So it's good to have that hot and cold. You have that balance. What I'm saying is that defensive line is more than what people give them the credit for. And it's only going to have to catch them by surprise because they refused, even of own fans. We just got to wait and see. Well, wait and see. It's going to work for Colorado's good. And if we start adding those positionless defense components, because Shadoze really kind of sits up. So he really can almost stand up. He really sits up more like a sumo wrestler. So he's not like head down, barrel down on the ground. He's really using his hands. And he's really good at controlling the blocks. And his lower body is so stout, and so his center of gravity is so low, it's hard to move him. Like he's really looking like a sumo wrestler out there. And then he can scrape down the line and go lateral and go help with run support. And he's quick enough to get down the field, laterally to help sideline to sideline. This is going to be very important because if he can clog like that, he's gonna open lanes for the blitz. If he can clog like that, the edge rushers are going to have a field day. And that quarterback is not going to have nowhere to escape. Up the middle, at least. So, it's going to be interesting. This was something that's a game changer for Colorado's defense. For people who actually know football and for people who talk about last year. Because you didn't have that last year. Our nose guards, tackles, they was getting blown off the ball. Remember we talked about how Shane Coates was too small. We talked about how Bishop was too small. Manila came in and did decent towards the later part of the season. They were getting blown off the ball. They were getting wiped off the map. This guy is bringing a different element to this defense. And when you have some solid linebackers behind him, which we're still working with, figuring it out, we know Wester is. And like I said, hopefully some of those non-traditional looks can help throw some things off. We can really blitz a lot more with Shadoze right there. If he's going to take up 2-3 guys to try to clear him out for these traps and whatever they're trying to run, the linebackers going to have a field day. All they got to do is be able to read. All they got to do is be able to read. And we got all spring something, so they better be able to read. But that's a whole nother conversation. But y'all, like I said, shout out to those guys. Go take a look at their stuff. I definitely want to highlight that piece there. It's a big piece. But I'm Greg. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share. Make sure y'all subscribe. Leave a comment. And I'll talk to y'all soon.